So we've got our two equations. We did a little bit of rearranging because we have to have x or y by itself, but that was an easy fix. One thing I want to point out, I like the fact that Justin went for this equation. And Justin, I'm going to put you on the spot for a second. What made you go for the first equation instead of the second equation? Yeah. So if I wanted to, could I get x or y by itself in the second equation? This needs to stop. I could, but would it be as easy as what Justin did?
No.
I would have an extra step because there's numbers or coefficients, what they're called.
You'd have to do plus 3.
I would have to divide, right? Because of those coefficients or those numbers sitting in front of the variables. When you're trying to get something by itself, it's a good idea to go for whatever's the easiest. And if you can avoid division, that's a good thing, because what happens sometimes when you divide?
Bad things happen to your brain.
Fractions, yeah, and fractions are going to be harder to work with. If I get fractions, now I'm swapping fractions into my problem in the swap step, and now I have to worry about those fractions all the way through my calculations, and that's just yucky, right? Nobody really likes fractions. So a good tip, and I'll put this right below if you want to put a reminder in your notebook. If you don't already have an x or a y by itself and you need to make it be by itself, try to go for something that does not have a coefficient or a number in front of it, because that'll save you division, which saves you from fractions, right? So Justin was right to go on this side because it's just subtracting and no dividing. It's going to give us something much easier to swap into our equation. So if you do need to do this step, a good tip, we'll put it right below. Look for variables without a coefficient, which is just the number. Number in front. So in other words, look for things where we're not going to have to divide to get it by itself. Keeps you out of fraction land. Okay, now we can do our steps. We just reviewed our steps. We said it's 3 steps. Swap, solve, get the other half, right?
Right.
So we're ready to actually go through those steps. Our first step is the swap step.
Yes, we swap a bag with.
Exactly, because this bag, our bags are our x's, so everywhere we have an x, we can swap it with that, right?
4 times.
Yeah, and Grant's right. Remember we said this equation tells me what to swap. It's the other scale or the other equation where I'm actually swapping things out. So since I'm swapping out the bags, they're right there. And Grant's right. There's 4 of them. So that means I need 4 of these 5 minus y's. Right?
4 parentheses 5 minus.
Yeah. So I'm going to write this out, but just with my bags swapped out. So I kind of highlighted what we're swapping out here so you can see it. So 4 bags, but I'm swapping my bags out. I still have 4 of them, but now instead of x's, I'm picking up the x's and I'm putting a 5 minus y there instead.
20 minus 4.
And then I still have the 3 boxes that I'm short, right? And I still have the 15 that I owe. So again, this looks exactly like before. The only thing that changed is I just swapped out the highlighted part, right? That's the swap step. Just whoop, flipped it around, right? What's our next step again? Swap?
Solve.
Solve.
4 times 5 is 20.
Okay, so let's solve. We already talked about how every solving step matches with working with things on the scale. Since we're doing this with numbers, we can just go through our solving steps. Okay, what do I do first? Distributed property. Okay, let's do some distributed property. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times y is, yep, because I'm subtracting minus 4y. And then I still have all the rest of this that I haven't touched yet, right?
Yep.
Now what?
No, you have to combine.
Combine like terms. Yeah, I've got y's in a couple of places. If I gather up all my y's, what do I have? 20, yeah, minus 7y. Oh, look, there's my two-step equation. I'm getting there. Now what?
Minus 20.
Minus 20.
Minus 20, minus 20. Negative 35.
Yep.
Negative 7y. Negative 7y equals negative 35. Divide by 7 on both sides.
Yep, and just divide.
You get y equals 5.
You get y equals 5.
There we go. 5 coins in a box, right? But we're not done. Remember we said this is 3 steps. Swap, solve,
Now you input the y. Find the other part.
get the other part. Yep. So we have to do our third step.
X equals 5 minus. So x equals 5 minus 5.
Yeah, you guys are right. It makes a whole lot of sense to use our equation that told us what to swap out, because the thing we're trying to find is already by itself, which is really convenient, right? So I could come back here and say, okay, to get what I need is 5 minus y. Oh, but y is 5. So I'm just going to do 5 minus 5.
X equals 0.
So my bags are empty.
So my bags are worthless and useless. That's
So we came back, just to write down what we did, we came back to this, and then we said, okay, I know what y is, so this is really 5 minus 5, which means x is 0. Our bags are empty.